Hello everyone, I've got another story for you this week. This is a story about a man called Elijah, and if you want to read this story, you'll find it in the first book of Kings in chapter 19. Now Elijah is not a king, he's a prophet, he's a spiritual leader in Israel, but he lived in a time when the world was really unsafe and there were a lot of bad things happening and people were dying. And to make things worse for Elijah, the queen, Jezebel, she wanted to kill Elijah. And so Elijah heard from all the people, the rumors coming through going, the queen wants to kill you, Elijah. What do you think she'll do? Do you think she'll come with soldiers? Do you think she might poison you? Oh, Elijah, you need to be careful because you're not safe. And poor Elijah, he couldn't cope with it all. He got so frightened and anxious because there was something out there that was going to hurt him. And he actually said, I have had enough. And he ran away. And he ran into the desert. And he said, I want to be alone and get away from everyone. I don't want to be with people. This is not helping. And so he ran away and he found himself, this is called a broom bush, in the desert. And he sat there thinking that if everyone left him alone, then maybe he would stop feeling so scared and anxious. What do you think? Do you think that being alone helped Elijah to feel less scared and anxious? No, it didn't. And so Father God sent him an angel to talk to Elijah and say to him, Elijah, this is not helping you. What you need to do is to go and talk to Father God. This is a pretty cool looking angel, isn't it? And so the angel gave to Elijah some food and some water, and he said, now eat up, and I want you to travel to Mount Horeb, which is the mountain of God, and there you can talk to Father God, and Father God can talk to you. Now, Father God does not live on a mountain, does he? I mean, Father God's so big that he holds the world in his hand. But Mount Horeb was a really special place for Elijah. It was a place where he'd heard God before and other people had spoken to Father God and Father God had spoken to them. So it was a special place for Elijah. So this was about Elijah feeling like he was close to Father God. So off Elijah went, and he went to Mount Horeb and he found a cave. And he sat down in his cave, still feeling scared, still feeling overwhelmed, still not wanting to be with people, and still saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this. And in that place, Father God came to him and said, Elijah, what are you doing here? And so Elijah told Father God that everything he was feeling. He told him, there are these things in the world that want to kill me, and I'm frightened and I want to be left alone. And so Elijah waited for God to answer him. I wonder what Father God will say. Well, right then, there was this powerful windstorm that came. And it shattered every rock. It was so strong and so powerful. In fact, you can even see, can you see how the wind has blown the rock into two pieces? And then Elijah listened for the voice of God, and God never said anything. Now, Father God brought that powerful wind. Do you think that such a powerful wind and such a force of nature would be a sign to Elijah? And do you think it would stop Elijah from feeling afraid and alone? No, it didn't. Because Father God came right afterwards and said to Elijah, Elijah, what are you doing here? And Elijah said the same thing. He said, there are all these things in the world, they want to kill me and I'm frightened. And even though it had been this great big sign of the power of God, he still felt frightened. And Elijah's like, I just want to be left alone. So the powerful sign didn't make Elijah feel better. I wonder what Father God will say. Well, he sent another powerful sign. Only this time it was an earthquake. Oh no, that's the wind. Let me show you. This is it, the earthquake. Look, I love this picture. Can you see Elijah here? He is like shaking because the ground is shaking so much. It's making him shake. I had a go. I couldn't shake like Elijah does. You should have a go. Everything about him was shaking. It was so powerful. The ground was actually making him bounce up and down. And so he had this powerful sign of the earthquake. And do you think that stopped Elijah from feeling afraid and all alone? No, it didn't. Because when Father God came and whispered into Elijah's ear and said, Elijah, what are you doing here? Elijah answered the same way. He said, I'm frightened, and there are things out there in the world that want to kill me, and I just want to be left alone. So that powerful sign did not make Elijah feel better. I wonder what Father God will say now. Well, he sent fire. The blast from the fire was so strong that Elijah in his little cave could feel the heat and actually feel like almost like that hot gust of wind that came on him from the fire. And after there was this great big fire, what do you think? Do you think that that powerful sign would stop Elijah from feeling afraid and all alone? No, because Father God came to him after the fire and he said, Elijah, what are you doing here? And Elijah said, there's all these things in the world and they want to kill me and I'm frightened. So, what will Father God do with him? So Elijah was sitting in the cave, and as he was sitting quietly in his cave, he heard this whisper, just a small sound. And he heard Father God speak to him. There were no big signs, no big noises, no amazing things happening. Just a very quiet voice whispering to Elijah. And what do you think Father God told him to do? Well, Father God said to Elijah, Elijah, when you're frightened, you don't want to be all alone. You actually need to be with some friends. So what I want you to do is I want you to go back and I want you to make a new friend. His name's Elisha. I want you to stay with him. I want you to talk with him. Because if you talk with people who are your friends when you're scared or you're anxious, it will actually make you feel better. But isn't it funny? Did you see all of these big signs that Father God did with the earthquake and the fire and the wind? I think sometimes when we're scared, we want Father God to come and do something big so that the thing that's scaring us will be shown that Father God is bigger. And actually, that's not what we need to do. What we need to do is be like Elijah. When we're scared that something's out there to get us and we're feeling anxious, what we need to do is actually go and speak to Father God and just let him quietly speak back to us. And then the other thing that we need to do is go and find a friend and talk to someone. Talk to your parents, talk to your auntie or an uncle or grandparents. Talk to someone at church or one of your teachers. Talk to someone and tell them, I feel frightened, I'm anxious. There's things out in the world that want to hurt us. And right now, you might be feeling a bit anxious with coronavirus and you might be thinking, it's out there and it wants to hurt me. It's okay to feel scared, but what you need to do is to talk to someone about it. Now, before I go, I have given you some silly things that you can make or some pictures that you can colour in, and they're on the website. But one of the things that I've done, if you want, you can make one of these. Okay, bear with me. Now what you can do is, if you like, you can put pictures in. I've given you some pictures that you can put in, that you can stick in, that tell the story of Elijah. And then you can put on here whether Father God spoke in the fire or in the wind or in the earthquake, or whether he spoke in a whisper. And you can put here no, 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 and yes. Or what I've done, I've put some things on here that are my favourite things. And you have to guess what my favourite is. Okay, so is my favourite thing ice cream? And the answer would be no. And then you can turn it round and say, well, okay then. Oops. Is my favourite thing chocolate? Yes, that's definitely my favourite thing. So that's definitely yes. I've also got on here some desserts and some smoothies. They would be no, because my favourite thing is chocolate. That would be yes. But what you could do is make up a thing with some of the things about you and see if some of your friends or some of your family can guess. They have to put the yes and the no. Daniel, he did this really easily because he knows my favourite thing is chocolate. So, but you could make it difficult. You could make it your favourite verse from the Bible, or your favourite story from the Bible. You could make it about the favourite book you're reading or your favourite television show, and go around and see how many of your friends and how many of your family can get it right with the yes and no. Because right now, we really need people who know us really well. We need our friends, and we need our family, and we need to be able to talk to them. Have a good week, and I'll see you next week.